Give me some of that long. Hard. Rock, what kind of show do you think this is?
It's a show about me, right?
Really? Classic rock, hard rock, and heavy metal from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Plus, stick around for Plug-In, where we support independent artists one song at a time. Take it like a man from a woman who knows music. It's time for RockGasms with Jenn.
And John.
Oh, whatever.
Really?
Yes, really.
Whatever.
Fine, you're such a baby. That I do, and I hope that you do too, as did Joan Jett and the Blackhearts, which inspired them to not only write the song I Love Rock and Roll, but also name their album after it back in 1982. While my heart and love for rock and roll still longs for the 70s, 80s, and 90s music, you can relive the good old days each week right here on RockGasms with me, your shenanigizing, whip-wielding, amused muse, Jenn Mitchell. And now, finally, I shall welcome back my co-host and pygmy muse, Sir John Bisaha, lead vocalist of the Babies, who was just freshly released from the James Brown Witness Protection Program, joining me once more on the show. Couldn't stay away from the whip, huh, John?
Jump back. Want to kill myself.
No, I couldn't. You know, the whip is just too enticing for one such as whatever is I am.
Bound the people think I'm a dog or the mine. Did you serious?
That's all you have to say for your absence, really?
No, you know, I have a lot of things to say about my absence, but I know that they'll be creatively edited out, so I'm just going to stick to yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, and keep it positive.
I had a
always.
little bit of a laughing snort go through kind of my nose and my mouth at the same time.
That's hot.
Were you drinking milk? Because if you were, that would have been a fun visual.
I was trying to imitate your pygmy goats, actually, in the hopes that maybe that would turn you on more to the show today.
You know, my pygmy goats are civilized. They don't fall to the praise of blowing milk out of their nose and things like that. They're a little more dignified.
Your pygmy goats are more dignified than me. Is that what you're really trying to say? Is that what I'm supposed to deduct?
Never mind.
Mm-hmm. Well, John, for listeners who may not have heard the backstory on your whole witness protection program thingamajingy, perhaps now would be a good time for you to explain a little bit more about your absence from RockGasms and what led you to go into hiding in the first place.
Jump back.
Do you want the real version? Do you want the Reader's Digest version or your wiki version?
I don't have a wiki version, but I do have a wicked version, and that is the correct version. So go ahead, explain.
Well, it was not necessarily a self-imposed absence, I have to admit, but I did have a good time while out. You know, went and did actually a couple of benefits, which were really, really cool. And the last one was, actually with Ricky Byrd from Joan Jett. And they played I Love Rock and Roll. We did a benefit for the Rock and Roll for Children Foundation out there in Bethesda, Maryland. And that was fun. We had a bunch of good people getting together, people from Billy Joel's band, people from Ted Nugent's band. I mentioned Ricky Byrd.
Such a name dropper. Go ahead, go on.
Know, it's cool. We had Simon Kirk from Bad Company and Free, and we had myself and my lovely Holly from the Babies that were there. We had some people from Saturday Night Live. It was good. It was a great night filled with classic rock and roll and raised some really good funds for Children's Hospital that is really in need of those funds. So it was really good. I would say that was part of my witness protection program. You know, I had to go under an assumed name, and I'm not going to tell you what that is because someday you'll kind of ferret that out, and I would be scared if you did. But the people that were chaperoning me, you know, giving me faxes and the ability to fax and all those other things, yeah, we had a good time with it. I'll make reference to it later in the Bisaha's block of classic rock section.
Well, you know, you need to get your definitions of classic rock ready, because I'm going to put a challenge to everybody out there. Just write to John at john@thebabiesofficial.com. He tends to think that Ozzy Osbourne is considered classic rock. I happen to think that he's metal and hard rock. So you go ahead and write that to John and educate the boy. And the other thing is, I already know your secret witness protection program name, and that would be Sissy Sue. You know what I mean? So everybody, you can write to John or write to Sissy Sue at thebabiesofficial.com and educate him on classic rock, hard rock, heavy metal, because I don't know that he's done his homework for the show.
Man, I stand corrected. You know, you are... Never mind.
I know. I am many expletives.
You know what you are. You're indescribable. You know, words can't describe the being that is you.
You sounded kind of like how my mom used to talk to me by saying it that way, but that's okay. John put some throwdowns to another show contributor here, Rich Rage, and he was doing a lot of imitations of him, making fun of his hair, his voice. You called him Froggy at one point.
Oh, yeah, I did.
I know. Well, you know what? That's really what led you there, because Rich is younger than you and he's stronger and he can hurt you. And that is really why you were in the witness protection program.
Hold on. Stronger in strength or stronger in body odor? There is a difference, because I can handle a good BO.
Ew.
But, if he's a real bruiser, then, maybe I'll still take him on.
He's a bruiser now, huh? First you said slickers and stuff like that. Now you're using other throwback words like bruiser and stuff. You could say he's a hard ass if you want to.
I could have called him a shoehorn. Okay. Would a shoehorn work for you?
Give me a sarsaparilla, one of those lickety-split little tortadellis. And
what is so wrong with that word?
There's many things wrong with you. I don't even have the time to go into it, but I'm going to mention this. I'm going to mention why Rich actually isn't here this week, and I want to clarify right now. It's not because he's in some witness protection program because John was threatening him and stuff. Rich is actually...
Run, Rich.
He's actually at the Rockers Gone Wild event this week, and he's co-emceeing there with Jay Nova of Rockin' Inc. MC. I'm going to have some really exciting news. Actually, John and I both will have some very exciting news regarding our future in partnership with Rockin' Inc. MC next week with Jay Nova. We're not quite ready to give all the details yet because we're still working some of them out, but trust me, it's going to be super cool. However, in Rich's absence this week and his hotness, let's just be honest here, I have not one, not two, not three, but 4 hot men joining me on the show today. Present company excluded, of course.
That would be 5 then, because I can count up to 5.
No, I just excluded you from this, and they're going to be bringing some of their newest music and their latest music news as well. You okay with that?
Keep going. You just didn't include me.
Well, I was trying to include you there.
No, you try to include me in comments after you disincluded me in hotness. So just keep going. Keep going, please. You got the shovel right now, lady. I'm coming back with a little bit of a swagger. And
Sphincter says what?
And you're not going to get me right now.
Your swagger's going to land you in the cage right now, so...
Probably. I wouldn't doubt that.
Like a mouse with cheese, you put the cheese on the trap. All I have to do is put some pygmy goats in the cage, and I know you're there, so...
I have to save them. If you have a pygmy goat, it needs saving.
Well, I think it's time for you to get in the cage. I got to move on to 2 of these hot men right now and take them on. I had my Wheaties. I'm ready to go. That's all I'm saying.
You had your Wheaties?
Get in the cage. John, I don't know about you, but I'm more about the teasing than the pleasing, regardless of what the Scorpions just said. I can't, however, say that their album Crazy World, which that song came from, accurately sums up my experience with you on the show.
I have no words. Anything I say will be held against me, so... Well,
you know what? I can name some other crazy things other than my pasty face right now, but in a good way. What was that in the background? Is your goat acting up? I mean...
It's my little white sheepoo, Gwenny.
Yeah,
that's just having fun. That's my goat.
Yeah, it's your goat. Gwen. I know it. Gwenny's going to have to go in the cage next. I thought you said that they were well behaved. She doesn't seem to have very good manners. That's all I'm saying.
She does. I'm looking at her right now, and her manners are impeccable.
All right. Well, I think it's time for you both to go back in the cage since neither one of you seems to be able to mind your manners today. And this time, could you not bang so loud? I got to bring on the next 2 guests. Up next, I'll be unleashing my co-host, John Bisaha, from his cage just long enough to bring you this week's Bisaha's block of classic rock. And I do believe he's going to be putting us back on the crazy train, though, given the guests we've already had on the show. Not really sure we've gotten off of that in the first place. But first, a quick word from our sponsors, so stick around.
This James Brown Witness Protection Program, what was this guy's name? I think Kermit von Birkenstock, I think, was the warden or the headmaster, I think, of the Witness Protection Program. They fed me 3 squares every day, but I'm telling you, trains, man. Every 4, 5, 6 hours, I was heading on another train, taking me to some unknown, undisclosed location. Consequently, I had a little bit of this, after a sleepless night on a train. Had one serious case of halitosis.
Ew.
A little bit of locomotive breath, if you know what I mean.
Up after instructions on how you can book your band for the plug-in segment, be prepared to do some blow off of an autographed photograph. You'll just have to stay tuned in to find out what that's all about.
Hi, this is Tommy Rocket from Stone Trigger, and you're licking?
You know what, baby? You can lick me anytime you want. On RockGasms with Jenn Mitchell.
She was the best at dancing.
Welcome back to the final blow of RockGasms. Blow? Really? Who writes this stuff? Okay. Yeah, I'm not taking credit. It's creative genius, I tell you. Okay. As Jen mentioned at the start of the show, our song picks for this week, we're going to offer a decent mix of the new rock and the classics from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. And I think I had one in the 2000s, but I digress on that one. And just to prove I'm not that big fat liarhead that Jen so eloquently referred to me as earlier, you just heard Hit on the Radio by Blow Sight, which was a song submitted by their manager, Kenny Colgate, over at Eclipse Records to give it ye old spin. Why are you laughing now? Really?
I'm good. I'm good to go.
All right. Blowsight is a band out of Sweden, bringing a hard edge with a twist. So, hey, thank you, Kenny, as well as Nick, Seb, Mao, and Fabs for contacting me and us to be on today's show.
Before I even try to go on, people, we're not on anything. It's really just, you don't know what I have to put up with, John, behind the scenes to try and even to do these shows. I need
to say Fabs a little bit better.
No, you don't. I think you did a perfect job, unless you try to say it with a Swedish accent.
I overdrove it just a little bit. Fabs!
Yeah, I know.
Fabs! 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 Roar! Fabs! Fuck yeah!
You're on things.
All right.
There's many dirty, twisted puns I can make out of what you just said, but I'm going to have to digress because I might pee in my chair here, and that's not very hot.
Well, you know.
However, as long as we're talking about dirty things and not peeing in chairs, it only makes sense for me to get down and dirty with the raspy, sexy, sensual tones of Joe Elliott and the rest of my boys with Def Leppard with Photograph from 1983. Actually, I know someone who can intro this song way better than me.
Hi, this is Phil Collin from Def Leppard, and you're listening to RockGasms with Jenn Mitchell.
Hey, what do you got with these dudes with the R's and the R's?
I don't know.
You got Randy Rand and Rich Rage and
Ricky Ricola.
Ricardo, whatever his name is. That's pretty awesome. And find out what we've got up our sleeves.
Speaking of sleeves and such, I should warn you, Mr. Bisaha, that I have a very special surprise guest who'll be joining us on the show next week. This person is so top secret that I'm not even going to include this person on any of my show banners or my webpage or nothing. Now, I know you're completely impatient because we've discussed this earlier this week and you've already made a bunch of wrong guesses. But all you have to do is repeat after me and say this. I trust Jenn Mitchell no matter what.
Yeah, I'm not going to incriminate myself by entering into any reply that says I trust you no matter what. Yeah, I don't know about that. But I'm just going to stick around to next week to find out who this incredible person is who's going to slay me. Just keep lining him up. Line him up. Come on. Let's go. Who's next?
That's what I figured. Well,
is Striper? Where is Reiki Rowdery? Where are these guys? Where are they? They're nowhere to be found.
They have run far away from you.
They're long gone. They've run. But they're not really running from me. They're running from my co-host.
I highly doubt that. While you may have some issues trusting me, I'm going to take time right now to thank all of the guests who obviously trusted me enough to be on this week's show. So there.
There is a lot of trust there. So, and thank you, everybody.
Those being
I mean that.
No, you don't. Those being Mick Scott and Jason Stock of 7 Reasons Why, and Tommy Rocket and Neil McDermott from Stone Trigger for trusting me. See, there's that word again, John. With their new single, Black Venom, and they were so comfortable that they even did the show with their pants off. So double there. I also want to thank this week's featured plug-in artist. How old are we today? 7? Oh, yeah, doing Thorns.
Doing this thing, pants off, pants on, chaps off. I mean, really?
The clapper.
There's just a professional way to be able to go do this. Clap on. I've fallen and I can't get up. Okay,
well,
sorry,
that makes
continue.
sense for someone as old as you. But look, let me just finish thanking this week's featured plug-in artist before you go back to your shenanigizing, and that would be 7 Thorns, Wings of Pegasus, and Pegasus.
Wings of pubescence?
Wings of Pegasus and Toledo Steel. See? Oh, God, you're frustrating the crap out of me today.
Hey, extra shout-outs to Dave Castagno at Screamer Magazine.
He's not going to want to be associated with the show after this, just so you know that.
Sorry, Dave. let's hook up, man. Okay, I have to apologize in advance. It's not me, trust me. And also John Nowinski at Arm the Pit for co-sponsoring the plug-in segment, as well as to all the bands who've signed up to be on the show. To check out upcoming guests and the complete artist lineup for the plug-in segment, please visit our site at gasmswithjen.com and click on the plug-in icon at the top side of the page for the official show schedule. And let's not forget Rudy Rude Dog Reyes.
You don't even know how to say our show contributor's name.
Rudy Rude Dog Reyes from Steelers Nation for contributing today. I had to spit, so
he doesn't swallow, folks. He doesn't swallow. Go on.
And let's not forget Rudy Rude Dog Reyes from Steelers Nation for contributing today. For contributing to today's show, as well as the amazing Kendi Lockaby of KD Promotions for her tremendous promotional work on spreading the word about RockGasms.
You need to be careful with what words you enunciate on, with the whole blow sight thing and hard and now saying spreading. And poor Kendi. Kendi's a nice, sweet woman. She's got some class. Don't let John's little tone over there fool you. Anyways, last but certainly not least, we want to thank all of the listeners, or maybe 3, for tuning in each week. John and I, along with the RockGasms show, contributed to some film business.
Take 2.
We're not on anything. That's the sad thing. See, he got me all started up, people, just before we started doing this with his impersonations of all this weird crap. Now that's all I'm thinking about while I'm trying to get through thanking everybody. So if I sound disingenuous right now, you can blame John. Email him at john@thebabiesofficial.com with your hate mail. Okay?
It's not my fault. It's not my fault.
We feel this is a group effort, mostly, between the musicians, listeners, sponsors, and stations that air the show. We're now proudly heard on over 40 stations in 8 different countries, so thank you to all of our current and new affiliates.
And closing out today's show from their album Here from 19...
What is so funny about that?
What? First you give me this critique, and then you make me go ahead and do this. Just like this. Are you kidding me? From 1992 is Trickster with The Road of 1,000 Dreams. Trickster.
Is that anything like Sniper or Slipster or Snippers?
Exactly. Slipknot, Slipster, Sniplet, they're all the same to me.
Well, see, now you know why. See, Sniper from 3D in Your Face was a past guest on the show, and John accidentally called him Striper, and then he turned into Miss Snapple and Snuffleupagus and all this other crap. And that is why I can't include you on the guest interviews just yet. And everything you just said, I rest my case on.
Lady, just quiet down, okay? I'm trying to close out the show.
Don't hurt yourself.
Okay. So until next time, this is John Bisaha.
And Jenn Mitchell of RockGasms signing off and saying, I hope the music keeps hitting you in all the right places.
Man, you said I could end the show.
I lied. I really don't want to say this, but you really must be rubbing off on me.
Oh, great.